Doing your neuromuscular and musculoskeletal assessment today. I've already provided patient privacy, I've done hand hygiene, and I've asked the patient his two identifiers. And so let's get started. I'm going to start with your upper extremities, and I'm going to palpate your radial and brachial pulses. And during this assessment, I'm only going to be doing one side of the body, but in real life on a patient, we would be doing both sides and comparing. So, those are strong and equal. And now I'm going to have you, can I turn your hand over? And I'm going to be testing his range of motion of his hands. And can you go up? No, up and down, and then side to side. Okay? And then can I have you fan your fingers out and back in? Okay. And now I'm going to test one side. Can you try to open your hand? Okay. And then try to close. Okay. And there's resistance. So he has adequate strength and range of motion in his hands. And now for your arms, can I have you go up and then back down? And then can I have you pronation and supination go up? Okay. And now I'm going to move to your shoulders. Can you go up like this and all the way down? And then can I have you out, abduct, and adduct all the way across? And then try to scratch your neck. And then reach back behind you and try to touch your scapula. Okay, so he has adequate range of motion in his hands, his arms, and his shoulders. So now I'm going to move on to his lower extremities. And during this, I'm going to be looking that they're symmetrical. I'm going to be looking at his skin. It's consistent with ethnicity in pink. I'm going to be looking at his hair distribution. It's distributed well. There's no balding spots or abnormalities. And I'm going to be looking for varicose veins. And next, I would test range of motion in his lower extremities. I would start with the hips. If I had a bed, I would be doing the range of motion on his hips, but I'm not going to do that, and test his strength. So I'm going to start with his knees now. Can I have you lift your knee up and then back down? And then I'm going to have you, can you lift up against my hands and then pull down? Okay, so he has adequate strength and range of motion. And now I'm going to move on to your ankles. And can you just make a big circle with your ankles? Okay, and then can you pull up against my hand? Push down. Okay, and then go side. Can you move your ankle side to side? Okay. And while I'm here, I'm going to be doing the popliteal pulse and the posterior tibial pulse and the dorsalis pedis pulse. And they were clear. They were strong and equal. And I would do both sides for that. And can I have you stand up? When he walked in, I observed his gait, and there were no abnormalities in his gait. Can you turn his side? Now I'm going to be assessing his spine. Can I have you bend down? Okay, and now I would be looking for scoliosis or kyphosis of his spine, and there's no abnormalities, so you can come back up and come all the way back. And then can I have you turn side to side with your back? And then kind of bend side to side. Okay, so that was range of motion of the spine, and there were no deficits noted or abnormalities. Now we're going to do the Romberg test. Can you open your eyes and lift your arms up like this? And now close your eyes. Okay, and his arms didn't fall, and there was no wavering. So now you can sit back down. Okay, so no abnormalities there. And now I'm going to move on to Babinski's reflex. Can I have your foot, please? And this, I'm going to take my pen, or you could use the end of your reflex thing, and I'm going to go up the foot. And I'm looking for, if it was positive, his toes would fan out if he had a positive Babinski's reflex. Now I'm going to move to the rapid alternating movement test. So I'm going to have you just do what I do. So have your palms and slap, bring them up and turn them, and then slap with that, and just do it as fast as you can. Okay, so no neurological deficits there. And now I'm going to move to the finger to the nose test. So I'm going to put my finger out, and you touch your nose and touch my finger. And if there were any deficits, he couldn't follow my finger, but there was none noted. And can I have you do the heel to shin test? So take your heels and just run them down your shins. Okay. Now I'm going to do the position to finger test. And just close your eyes, and then I'm going to touch somewhere and open, and then tell me where I pointed, or I touched. Now I'm going to touch points on your face, and either sharp or dull, and you tell me if it's sharp or dull, and then I'm going to ask you if it's the same on both sides, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to do your face, your hands, your legs, and your feet, okay?
Dull. Dull.
And was that the same on both sides?
Yes.
Okay.
Sharp. Sharp.
Same on both sides?
Yep, same. Sharp. Sharp.
Same on both sides?
Yes. Sharp. Sharp.
No, it's the same on both sides?
Mm-hmm.
So the patient has no sensory deficits. And now, lastly, I would do his deep tendon reflexes. And I would start with his brachioradialis reflex. And I would put my thumb on his tendon, and I would hit the mallet on my thumb, and I would look for his thumb to quiver. And then I would move on to the patellar tendon, and I would find the little divot in his knee at his patellar tendon, and I would hit the mallet on that, and his leg should go forward. And next, I would do the Achilles tendon. I would come back here, and I would strike the mallet and wait for his reflexes. And that is the end of my neuromuscular assessment.